Hi, I'm Trav. This video is the first in a series documenting my 3-week solo trip across Portugal and Spain. I started off in the Portuguese city of Porto, and one of its most distinctive sites, the Capela das Almas. This chapel's exterior is covered in ornate blue and white tiles, a historic feature of Portuguese architecture referred to as azulejos. It was approaching lunchtime, so I went to a nearby restaurant, Vietnam Mais Cinco, to order prego com queijo. It's a simple sandwich with steak and cheese. This one, while indulgent, was quite small. Fortunately, I also had a big serving of fries. My first impression of Porto was that while it had a lot of grand sights and was full of tourists, there was this depth to it that made it feel lived in and not just a pretty facade. Though speaking of grand sights, I had a couple more on the day's agenda, one being the Igreja dos Clérigos, an 18th century church with an eye-catching tower. It costs €10 to access the tower and take in its expansive views. Next stop was the Palácio da Bolsa, Porto's historic stock exchange building. This place is a popular attraction, and for good reason. The interior is stunning, especially when you get to the obscenely extravagant Arabian room. From there I headed to Porto's scenic riverside. The street Rua da Alfândega provides a picturesque framing of the river Douro. For dinner I went to Taberna Rio, which is sat right by the river. I ordered the roasted pork shank with baked potatoes and rice. Honest to God, one of the best meals I've had. That pork was cooked and seasoned to perfection. From the Douro to a couple of miradouros, or viewpoints. Miradouro da Vitória provides a sweeping view of both sides of the river, and Miradouro do Passeio das Futuras is not only a great location to watch the sunset, but also had a fun, party-like atmosphere. However, I was too tired to find people to party with, so I wrapped up for the day. Day 2 in Porto started at Mercado do Bolhão, a popular fresh food market in the city centre. I got myself some snacks, including some local cheese and a refreshing cup of orange juice.
Uma laranja, por favor. Obrigado.
I stopped by Força Portugal, the home of local football merch, and picked up this very tidy FC Porto kit. On to the most in-demand attraction in the city, livraria lello. This bookstore is dubbed the most beautiful in the world, and is pretty fitting of that description, though the crowding is overwhelming. This place absolutely requires booking in advance, and there are different pricing tiers. I got the gold ticket for €16, which includes a book from one of their ranges. I got a collection of Shakespearean sonnets, and also bought a book about Porto. Throughout this trip, I planned to get some gifts for my family. My first idea was to get some ceramic coasters in the style of azulejos for my parents, which I found at this store, Prometeo. Tucked away near Porto's main cathedral is Igreja de Santa Clara, a relatively small but absolutely exquisite cathedral. The richness and detail of the interior is truly a sight to behold. Another highlight was a nearby bar called Guindalense Football Club. It has a great vibe and an even greater view of the Luís I Bridge. Here I was keen to try a couple of popular local foods. On the left is the cachorrinho, little bites of crispy bread, sausage and cheese, which made for a satisfying snack. And on the right is the bifana, a pork sandwich which was so tender and delicious. Across the bridge now into the city of Vila Nova de Gaia, or simply Gaia, which officially is a separate entity to the city of Porto. Jardim do Moro is a nice park to chill, soak up the sun, and appreciate the Porto cityscape. I then headed down to the riverside via Gaia's cable car, which is €7 one way or €10 return. An iconic export from this part of the world is port wine, and while I'm not a wine drinker, I thought, while I'm here, I might as well give it a try. I went to Taylor's to have a tasting, suitably dressed in my cotton on-striped tee and Carlton hat, and yeah, the wines are pretty nice. My favourite one was the one in the middle, which has some berry notes, like a medium richness. Yeah, I'm not an expert at this stuff. On to dinner now. I found this small restaurant Casa Diaz, which is right on the riverside. I ordered a traditional sausage to start. It's fried on the outside with a mix of chicken and pork on the inside. Wasn't bad, but not something I'd really go back to. For the main I got grilled chicken with mushroom. The seasoning of the mushrooms was nice, but was overall a bit plainer than I would have liked. It's worth noting that I'm allergic to most seafood, so my options were somewhat limited. As the day came to a close, I stumbled upon an impromptu dance party, a very sweet note to end my time here. And with that, see you in the next adventure.